I really like these little arm zippers, so you can lie in bed and still read a book or look at your phone. It's pretty handy instead of having to unzip and then turn your lights out, etc. So it keeps a bit more heat in the sleeping bag. I'll just flip you around and show you what I got going on. Let's have my candle lantern in the corner there, and then I've used this before, this little fan with a 4000 milliamp battery, and it has reduced condensation in the past, so let's see how it works tonight with the addition of the candle lantern. I've got a hot water bottle inside the sleeping bag. I'm already roasting, I might have to unzip the bag. So clothing wise, I got one pair of merino long johns on, one very thin merino top, and a 250 weight merino top on that. And I got my old Helly Hansen fleece. I might be taking that off though because I'm starting to sweat and I don't want to be sweating in the bag. Alright, so unless something catastrophic happens in the night, which I'm very doubtful, I'll see you in the morning. Good night. So first thing I want to discuss is how I slept in the sleeping bag. The first 10 minutes I had way too many clothes on. I had my long johns on the bottom and two merino wool tops and a Helly Hansen fleece and 2 pairs of socks. Within 10 minutes I took 1 pair of socks off and took off my Helly Hansen fleece, and then I was pretty well comfortable falling asleep. I do toss and turn and I'm a side sleeper, so I was flip-flopping all night as I usually do at home. So around 5 o'clock in the morning I started feeling a little bit cool, so I unzipped the bag and put on my Helly Hansen fleece and then went back to sleep to around 7 o'clock. What I did notice when I got out the sleeping bag, there was quite a layer of water, especially around my chest area. And as you could see through the last night's filming, there was a lot of, the humidity was really high in the tent. I should have zipped the doors fully open to create more through draft, as there was a bit of a wind chill. But because I'm dug down 3 feet into the snow, it did affect the airflow because I couldn't feel any breeze whatsoever on the tent. So the dampness was more located around the chest area, where it's probably due to my exhalation. Normally with a bag that has a very thin microfiber outer shell, like 10D, I would be using a bivy bag over the top, as that just helps mitigate the condensation. So the reason why I didn't use the bivy bag on this particular night was I wanted to show the full potential of the sleeping bag and how it handled the moisture. Okay, now let's talk about the features. So this is the minus 20 degrees Celsius version. They also make a minus 5 degrees Celsius version, and that is the comfort limit. And as mentioned, it has a 10D microfiber DWR coated outer shell. So the down that NORTENT uses in its sleeping bags is DownTech DWR ethically sourced down. You can also scan the little label and it'll show you the batch number and where the down actually comes from. So the sleeping bag itself comes with a really nice, good size mesh storage bag, because you do not want to be storing your sleeping bag in the compression sack. I like this feature on the bottom of the bag. It actually shows you the comfort rate, the limit, and the extreme rating. So there's the DownTech label. So Lyng in Norwegian means heather. So as I mentioned, this is the minus 20 4-season bag. The length of this one, it's the long bag. So it's 230 centimeters long, whereas the standard version is 215 centimeters. So looking at the bottom bag, this nice little Velcro pocket. What I like to use this one for was put a piece of foam in. So when my feet are pressing against the end of the tent, it's just one little barrier against any moisture getting into your sleeping bag. Now there's also 2 toggles at the bottom of the bag, one each side, and I'll come back to you in a minute and show you what they are for. The bag has a full 2-way center zip, and the zipper's a YKK number 5 anti-snag zipper. I like this feature here, so you don't get the zipper in your face, cold zipper in your face at nighttime. And I like this great big loop because when it's really cold, wearing gloves to bed, you can easily get your finger through there and pull the zipper down. And if you get too hot, you can also undo this zipper here at the bottom. On the sides and the chest area, you have 2 zippers. That's so you can either ventilate the sleeping bag out or stick your arms out and actually do tasks around camp. So looking in the area of the zipper, a baffle each side, so when you zip it up, there's no air gaps. And to help with the anti-snag function, they include this stretch of stiffening fabric here, so you don't get your sleeping bag zipper tangled. Even the arm zippers have little baffles too, look. And they're quite substantial. They're really covered. I didn't notice any cold spots around my shoulder area. So the second pocket is just here in the chest area, so if you've got any electronics, you can keep them warm, or whatever you want to put in there. Now I'm just going to flip the sleeping bag inside out at the foot box just to show you the third pocket. So really ample pocket at the base, and that's where I stored my electronics overnight. So because it's a center zip sleeping bag, you can't have that traditional baffle that goes all the way around. This was great actually. It wasn't too tight around my neck, easy to undo and do up. Now looking at the top, nice, easy to use. Little button, well, with one hand. So the hood on this thing is absolutely massive. I really liked it. It covered my face, covered my head. I had to take my toque off sometime in the night and then put it back on around 5 a.m. And once you tighten it up, it's got this little overhanging baffle too, so it's almost like a little snorkel. I really liked it. Very easy to use. So the sleeping bag is box baffle construction, and from the base up into the chest area, it's horizontal. And you get into the chest area, it's vertical. And the reason behind that is to mitigate downshifting. Okay, so now let's talk about these toggles and what the purpose is. One thing you can use them for is hanging up from a coat hanger to hang your sleeping bag and dry it out after you've used it, get any dampness out. So the main reason for these toggles is, I'll show you in a second. Now let me flip the bag over. So now it's tucked up. You can actually undo the zipper, put your arms through the holes, and just say you're going to go and check your lines. You don't have to get out your sleeping bag at night time. So you can stay warm and still do some outdoor tasks. So basically it's like having just another giant down parka. I'm not going to show you me with that around me. There's a few other videos out there that show that. One guy's Fellman Dave and the other one is Andrew Park Outdoors, and they both illustrate that quite well. One last thing to talk about is the actual stuff sack that it came with. It's basically a really good, really thick dry bag with a Velcro top and clip enclosure. So in addition to the Velcro enclosure at the top, it has also got compression straps, so you can really cinch this thing down when you go to pack it away. Although, as I mentioned, when you store it at home, I'd be storing it in the big mesh bag. So just pulling up a screenshot that I took from yesterday because I had zero phone reception out here. So as mentioned, the regular length is 215 centimeters and the long length, which is this one, is 230. And the total weight is 1,850 grams, so 1.85 kilograms. And the fill is 1,200 grams, so 1.2 kilograms. Just going to get my glove back on as it's still pretty chilly out here. So to wrap it up, let's finally talk about the pros and cons of the NORTENT Lyng sleeping bag. For me, I wanted the long version because I'm 6'2", what's that, 188 centimeters. There was just enough room at the bottom where I could store some stuff, and I even had some clothes drying out in the bottom, so there wasn't a lot of air gaps. Around the shoulder area, I'm pretty broad-shouldered. It fit me perfectly. I really like the features of the zips on the side, so you could stick your arms out and maybe read a book or, you know, surf on your phone or a tablet, whatever. And then also cook in the morning. You don't have to get out your sleeping bag. I found the zipper very easy to use. It never got snagged. And the hood, that was another feature I liked. It felt like just being snugged up in a blanket at home over your head. Very comfortable, lots of room. And now, unfortunately, the cons. The cons isn't, I wouldn't say cons, because I think partially it was due to me not ventilating the tent enough last night. And like I say, I should have known better, sleeping in winter conditions. I had the doors partially zippered down, but it wasn't enough to get a through breeze going. So as you saw from my little bit of footage last night, you could see my breath and pretty well, even with a candle lantern, I was exhaling water all night. And correct me if I'm wrong, but they say an average person can exhale, you know, almost a liter of water. So that was a lot of water inside the tent going nowhere. But then again, it's a very thin microfiber 10D and you can't expect it to do miracles. A gore fabric or a storm shield that Western Mountaineering would use would obviously alleviate that, but then you increase the weight and you'd increase the price of the sleeping bag. So moving forward, if I'm using this in high humidity, yes, I'll vent my tent more, which is something I do know and I should have done. So that concludes my field test of the NORTENT Lyng Heather -20 long sleeping bag. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.